Hello everyone, and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. Today I'm playing once again Hell in a Very Small Place as Dutch-German Corps. I'm trying to learn this coalition a little bit better, and I'm playing against Boomer here, who is a subscriber, so of course we were able to set up a game. It was a very good one. We had a couple others as well. Might feature one tomorrow with the two of us on a team, because that was quite a lot of fun. Not the most symmetrical game ever, but this one certainly was a bit of a knockdown, drag-out fight, so I am anticipating something going on in Gulf, and I'm sending up an anti-helicopter squad attempting to deny, well, probably paratroopers, and I do spot an Mi-24D, actually a pair of them, moving up, so this looked like it was the paratroopers I was probably expecting. They are stopped, but those bows are going to be having a very nice time. I do spot an armored column as well, which is a bit of a problem, as I've put a fair number of forces over to the right in Bravo, and I'm moving up toward Gulf, but pretty light contingent here, other than, I mean, yeah, Smarter 2s are excellent fire support, but they're not going to be killing tanks, and I maybe thought, given the size of that column, that might be something that we're looking at. So the bows are retreating. I did lose the scout defender to some sort of AA here, and I'm not quite sure what my opponent is using yet either, so that was a bit of a problem. Parmelons, meanwhile, unloading, getting infantry sorted in Bravo, and Jaeger positioned defensively with some Volksmelons. Not really great use of Volksmelons here. It's too short of a distance, but I mean, it's the transports I had for the Jaeger, and it usually is good on some larger maps with some more open sight lines. SPZ looks just heading up to the top ground, make sure that nothing coming through here will be completely undetected for too long, and I do have some Jaeger 90, as well as, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but anyway, Dutch-German anti-air infantry and some Panzergren 90 just holding in these woods. So ATGMs and a couple tank shots come in, and my transports do sort of take that right on the chin. But, I mean, hey, it's kind of to be expected. I'm feeling a little bit nervous at this point in the game, because usually with that sort of large armored column, there's an engagement, as the Red 4 player will usually try to take this town right off the bat before it's really well fortified. I mean, that sort of rush strategy has just kicked my teeth in before, and, you know, I was getting a strong sense of deja vu, but I haven't even seen, really, I mean, other than the couple of helicopters, I haven't even seen enough units to be able to identify them yet. We do have a Dornier 205 just sort of hovering there. I thought maybe, you know, if he was pushing forward AA, or if he had better recon here than I did, that might be another tripwire unit. So Charlie is capped right off the bat, and I'm kind of getting the sense now, okay, fine, this is going to be one of those long, grindy, value positional games where the momentum early on maybe isn't the end-all be-all, so we are going to fast forward just a little bit, probably lean on that ×2 while things are in between bits of excitement. My Jaeger are moving up, and of course do take a couple shots. I do identify a T-72B, which, you know, hey, that tells me there's tanks there, it tells me they're being used defensively, that's fine. It also does give me time to sort of flesh out defenses in Foxtrot a little bit. I don't think this top is the most defensible position ever. I've stormed it many times, just sending smoke right up the middle and having at, which it does sort of tend to work decently well. In the meantime, Echo is capped, and I thought this would be a position that wouldn't really be guessed that well, and it is, of course, Führungsgruppe, so the command infantry, not a command vehicle, that could be very easily taken down. So if my opponent wants to play the long game, I will certainly engage him in that, and we are getting a CV headed over toward Bravo as well. So it seems like the points are coming in a little fast. That's because, again, we were on ×2 there for just a bit. Jaeger engaging with Monostrelki. This is an engagement that I do like, because Monostrelki 90 at least, 15 points, and regular infantry versus Jaeger, who are 15 point. Well, I guess they're also regular infantry, huh? I mean, I do remember the tales of when those guys were 10 points and very much a little too good. BMP-3s engaging with Martyr 2s, and we actually do get the kill there, which is very nice, as BMP-3s are very expensive, and this confirms, okay, we're fighting against a Soviet deck. So at least we know what we're up against now, and that should be somewhat of a good thing. Unloading the command infantry in those Dorniers and Bravo will also put us up to a +1 ticking, but my Jaeger 90 are being kind of attacked by Motostrelki here, and here comes artillery support, so this town is of course a very predictable position, and high HE artillery will be able to do very well there. T-72B now moving up into the jaws of Leopard 1A5. Not the best tank here, but decent gun on it, 16 AP, 10 rounds per minute, it's very nice, 2275 meter range. But no line of sight here on the T-72B, a little bit of funky, I think it was too far back in those woods to get an unobstructed shot, and the Jaeger are still engaging. Of course, they will just chew through regular training units, but the T-72s are doing exactly what I said they would, and killing Martyr 2s that can't quite stand up to that. I also didn't really have many great places to retreat to. I could have probably gone with behind the town, but I was kind of hoping exactly that. So you see the T-72 moved up, I was able to get the first shot with the Leopard 1A5, and in comes a Peace Rhine, able to take that guy down. So that's a T-72B that my opponent will no longer have on the field. It's not the end of the world for him, but now we do have mortars coming in, and my Jägeri take 2 damage right to the face. There are, of course, panics. I'm trying to move out of it, but they are stunned now by the remaining Motostrelki, and, I mean, hey, that'll get you there. The SPZ Lux, however, is moved up, trying to take advantage of the loss of that enemy tank to get some sort of incremental value on the Motostrelki, and we're going to speed things up here just a bit more again. I have lost the AA infantry. They are quite fragile, but we have Jäger and Flux Milans moving up in the forest. Unfortunately, we do run into an enemy position. Motostrelki, something big here as well. I was thinking maybe BMP3s or something of that sort of quality, and I get caught out in the open. The SPZ Lux killed, the Flux Milans killed, and yeah, that kind of turned in our hand a little bit sooner than I was really hoping for, and now the Jaeger are under fire by whatever that is, with that very excellent autocannon. However, Panzerfaust 44 is an excellent gun, and if we can get a second shot, but no, they are taken out before I can get a kill on whatever it was in those woods. So very deadly indeed, and Golf has actually been capped for my opponent, so Foxtrot is now the only thing in play. We are 33 points to 39 points for Boomer, as he did secure Charlie, that ticking +2 before we did. I do, however, have Jägeri moving up on the eastern side now in Jaeger that have moved all the way up here. Of course, they're not recon, so I don't have excellent line of sight on everything, but they are a bit of a denial to a staging ground in these woods, as anything that moves in here looking for that free position will encounter a double stack of Jaeger. So they were in fact not BMP3s, but BMP2 OBR 1986s. It's a bit of a mouthful there, but they run into Jägeri 90, and those Carl Gustav M3s are going to have a bit of a field day, particularly with the low visibility in those woods, and there's a lot of stuff in here. So my Jägeri were initially moved forward to try and ambush those T-72 OBRs, or not T-72 OBRs, but the BMP2 OBRs. But that is going to be moving back. I have brought up a Jupiter, and I was just out of range to resupply, which was killing me, because look at that. They're right there. The yellow line's so close. Yep, so close, but not quite forward enough, and that's going to be a bit of an issue. We did briefly spot a THS Mi-24D back here. That's going to be more enemy paratroopers headed in, and I started to get the sense... Oh, not THS, Mi-24D. My apologies. I did kind of get the sense that Golf was going to be a bit overloaded. My Jägeri are moving up forward enough to get some sort of vision, and I see there are MTLBVs here. That means that this will not be a free walk in the park like it was the other day, where I got some nice infantry back there. That was a really cool shot with that airplane. Wow. That's part of why I play this game, honestly, is the visuals on it are surprisingly good. I do, however, spot a command truck here, UAZ 469U. That tells me, even though I can't kill it right then, that tells me that Foxtrot is going to be capped, and I'm going to be working at a disadvantage here. So, of course, if Foxtrot's capped for Red 4, that ticking +1 for the center zone will be certainly on the way, and that means I have to do something, and I have to do something now. So more artillery coming in, shooting at that Leopard 1A5, but Jaeger moving up through the woods. Flux Milan as well, trying to move up, and I'm thinking, you know, if he has a significant position in that side of Foxtrot, maybe these might just be tripwire units. Maybe I can get something good done. Jägeri 90 also moving up, trying to get some optics on the top of this hill. And I'm kind of regretting spending as many points as I did getting the Führungsgruppe out, but it is saving us from losing points right now. And Dornier 205s are going to be carrying up special forces. So I kind of thought, you know, I want to secure those woods. I want to win against infantry fights. I want to just get some Fallschirmjäger 90 out here and have them buzzsaw through everything that they meet. So Jägeri 90 moving over, they're not going to be attacking into that, but I wanted good vision of everything around there, and they are the troops to do that. Unfortunately, the last Martyr 2 is lost through a replacement tank a little bit ago, but yeah. I can only talk so fast and cover so many things. We do also have some counter battery fire coming in, and I think maybe actually landing on enemy artillery, not quite sure. Of course, couldn't count on it at the time, and those BMP2s are opening up, so Panzergren moving to the other side, and Jägeri 90, one man left, and let's see what they can do with that Carl Gustav M3. Are they able to do it? I don't know. Autocannon coming in? No. Okay, so that guy I think backed up a little too far. Jägeri 90 were able to reload that M3, and down they go. So a single man left. One man alone. Able to do all of that. Really excellent value there. And there is something circling in the back, but I couldn't quite catch what it was. So in the meantime, we do also have some Dorniers landing on the right-hand side. I wanted some special forces up there, I think, anyway. I thought so. They're not unloading, though. Interesting. But we, unfortunately, I got a little cheeky with the Jaeger 90 again and moved them forward, and that Mi-24D's rocket pods are teaching me the error of my ways very, very quickly. The Monostrelki don't even have to do anything, honestly. The helicopter would be enough to stun and kill that Jaeger 90, so another expensive and low availability recon piece taken down. These guys are, of course, 35 points, and there's more Monostrelki in these woods engaging the Fallschirmjäger. That'll be a short fight and very much in our favor, although the woods advantage is real, as my Fallschirmjäger are still standing out in the open plains, but there's the stun and panic, and those guys are just getting munched. In the meantime, a couple of TPZ Fulks and Uhlans bringing more infantry up to the top. I was worried about a counterattack up this section, which I've seen done before and is very effective there, but that helicopter's moving forward and I need to get into the woods before he can get there, or those rocket pods will very much punish me for having the Fallschirmjäger in the open. The Jupiter's moving up as well. I'm trying to get some resupply, and my Jägeri made it all the way back, so they are going to be resupplied as well. Otomatic moving up and more mortar fire incoming, but ATGM manually targeted, mind you, at the Jupiter, because resupply vehicles usually can't be targeted automatically, so every bit of fire that goes in against him is, of course, a conscious choice on the part of Boomer. We are losing points now, and Otomatic taking down that Mi-24D was a beautiful piece of work there. So unfortunately that does mean that my opponent knows there's some sort of good AA in this area. Given that it's Dutch German, the chances of it being an Automatic are pretty high. We do, however, spot a Tor coming in that way, so perks of having recon infantry back here. I know there's some sort of radar AA in my opponent's backfield, which means, of course, I can't go willy-nilly with the airplanes in this match, and the Fallschirmjäger cutting through another group of Monostrelki, but they need to move because here comes mortar fire pounding in at their position, and I guess they didn't really need to move that badly. That's just pretty low accuracy fire, and the Jupiter is able to heal them back up to full strength. So of course men are made of guns and oil in this game, and it never ceases to amuse. Not quite sure why Fox was uncapped, by the way. It might have just been moved back and out, and my looks does engage a BMP-2 with mutually assured destruction there. That artillery was probably going after the last known position of my Automatic, as that was where he had fired from, and now there's a little bit more posturing and not a lot of doing things still for just a minute. So bring up some Martyr 2s, pushing the Fallschirmjäger forward and trying to clear these woods. But there's been enough support there. I was a little bit cautious about that, and my Jägeri were unfortunately once again out of range of resupply, which just that was the bane of my existence. We do have an airplane coming in as the Fallschirmjäger buzzsaw through another group of Monostrelki bomber, and Su-24M, beautiful, gigantic bombing run and well positioned. So my Fallschirmjäger cut down to 5 men, one of the two groups dead outright, and that's going to be a problem as the T-72B is moving forward, but into the jaws of a Leopard 1A5, hopefully, if we're able to get the second shot, but no, we do lose vision, and we get it back. Yes, second shot coming in, but a swing and a miss there, and that T-72B is back. However, my Fallschirmjäger, wait, no, what are they doing? No, they were in the healing range. Oh, I didn't notice this at the time. That must have been a probably completely accidental order. We do have another bomber coming in, and I guess the Fallschirmjäger might be able to use the Panzerfaust 3, but doesn't look like it. And let's see where those bombs go. I don't really see it. Monostrelki 90 engaging with Jaeger will be a winning fight for the Monostrelki at this point, as my Jaeger are pretty damaged, and that means that I am going to be pushed pretty hard in Gulf. We do have a Leopard 2A4 coming up, and this is just to anchor that formation against enemy tanks and provide something maybe a little bit too big to be chewed through that quickly. Enemy plane coming in, and I do have my Automatic off, just trying to not get him sniped by Seed. Probably should have turned him on, but we do get him with the Flakpanzer Gepard in the back line, and the Draken 1s gets away with a very nice bombing run. A little bit of friendly fire there, but taking out the enemy infantry was the important deal. At that point in time, Martyr 2 is finally getting around to both positions, so we will have excellent fire support there, but BMP-2s are going to be able to take out the last of my Jaeger. So sad to see those men die. Of course, they were there since the beginning of the game and did their jobs. I don't know, they didn't really do all that much, but they tried. That's worth something, I guess. BMP-2s do have a line of sight just briefly on the Flakpanzer Gepard, so ATGMs are away. And the first one looks like a maybe they lost vision at the last second, bit hard to tell. But Martyr 2s are going to eat BMP2s for lunch there, so of course engaging with those really excellent RH503 autocannons verging on tank guns, to be frank, with the amount of damage per second they can give out. So ATGM's coming in, and the Leopards should be retreating, but I wanted that second BMP2. I wanted to get the Leopard 2A4 up to the forward woods, and of course the Leopard 1A5 is really getting punished here as the 24 VP is just having a field day, so that unit is lost, but my 2A4 is safe for right now, so that's at least worth something. But that 24M coming in again, automatic this time, engaged in time to stun, but not in time to prevent completely that bombing run, so my Jägeri 90 do finally die. The Martyrs, however, relatively untouched. The last couple Fallschirmjäger relatively untouched there as well, which is pretty nice. And, I mean, this is a more forward position than we had previously, so that is worth something. The Martyr 2 is unfortunately taking a bit of a hit there, and I really didn't want to lose that excellent fire support piece that way, but we've been pretty zeroed in by my opponent most of the game. I'm trying to get a little bit of revenge here with the bows. Of course, the 24 VP at 90 points would be worth trading into. Leopard 2A4 is getting a bit brave, trying to bait out something that I could get a shot off on, and Panzergren moving up. So this was the idea, so the Panzergren get vision, but they actually got the kill as well. I have no idea on what, but AA does open up and kills one of my bows. That's the Tunguska M. Very excellent piece there, and the 24 VP is punishing the Panzergren for getting out in the open. So very nice, very tight play by my opponents, and a bit of a stalemate for right now still, as we move into only about 22 minutes left. So of course he does get a little too close to the sun, and the automatic has a snack there. A bit of a blunder in that regard, as an unforced error, I would say. But the Tunguska M does get some revenge, taking down another scout helicopter. And I'm sort of realizing, you know, I have Bravo locked down. I'm not really feeling being that sort of sneaky fellow at the moment, moving Jägeri up around the side and maybe into Delta. At least not yet. And Seedplane is going in, trying to hunt for that Tunguska or Tunguska M, but it is turned off, so not a lot of success there. And that was one of the missiles from it, which of course is not radar guided, so those can be left on and not have a readable signal. More artillery coming in, and the Panzergren are in a significant amount of danger, so I'm going to try to do something about that. I have just brought in a couple artillery pieces of my own. Well, no, were they in before? Yes, they were, my apologies. We tried to do some counterfire, a little bit unsuccessfully. Panzerkampfwagen and Leopard 2 securing Foxtrot is going to be a nice ticking +1 for us. Again, don't know why my opponent uncapped there, but he finally does get the counter cap back, and I probably should have been getting +1 for that the whole time, and just didn't. So, you know, hey, always good to check and make sure that your units are where you think they are, because that wasn't a call out in response. That was just a, oh crap, he's a little too far out of the way. However, I think we did manage to get a good strike. Nope, it looks like they're in the backwoods there, and I'm not quite shooting accurately for the counterfire. We do get eyes to a couple BMP2s, and it's just timed again right as my Jaeger are going across here, so I don't know if that was in response. It very well could have been, but unfortunately my Jaeger are greeted by something in the woods here, opening up with an MG3. So is that? Yeah, that is infantry. Another double group of Motostrelki. Taking it on the chin from the Jaeger, honestly, that MG3 is pretty nice. Martyr 2 moving up as well, trying to provide a backbone against those BMP2s. We'll see if he can get online, but that's a T-72 OBR 1987, which is a very valuable, well, cost-effective, I should say, tank for the USSR, and that helicopter stunning my Martyr 2 does ensure his destruction at the hands of vehicles he probably could have otherwise taken, and the Jaeger are again destroyed. So I should probably stop trying the same damn thing over and over, but it's frankly the first time it hadn't really worked, so I was a bit stunned, because usually that sort of play has worked out in the past, and I know, always good to respond to conditions there and try new things should the old one fail. But I was sitting there going, you know, maybe this time, maybe this time, maybe this time. Tactical inflexibility has led to many a loss for me in this game, so yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so in the meantime we have Fallschirmjäger 90 once again engaging with Motostrelki, and at least he can't push me out of here again, at least it doesn't seem like it right now. But those BMP2s are certainly trying. One of them goes down, but the Fallschirmjäger do pay the ultimate price there, and the Leopard 2A4 able to take out that BMP2, and there's another tank here, I think. And so a Leopard 2A4 is a 130 point tank, the T-72 is 110, but as I was attacking and he was defending, he got the first shot. Ooh, sorry for that shaky cam there. He got the first shot and the second shot, and right as I said he wasn't able to push me out, there it goes. So we have lost that position now. Only a single group of Panzergren 90 and Parmilans, who are currently under howitzer fire, are holding that position. So a bomber coming in, Tornado ECR as well, but this is the wrong type of bomber for that situation. Those HE bombs probably won't do much against a T-72, but it was also kind of just sending a message, making sure there weren't any more infantry or anything like that as well. And this is becoming a little bit shaky, so despite our firm grasp in the east, I was sort of getting the feeling that, you know, if I get pushed out of Gulf, I don't have that nice of a hold in Foxtrot, and I have my Leopard 2 in a pretty predictable position, so that could be a problem. And, I mean, artillery trading is something I need to get a lot better at, because right now it's just absolutely wrecking me. Flux-Milan's firing, but losing their line of sight against just 5, I think, point transports, so never a good trade in that regard. And I'm trying to slip a defensive position here, as I'm sort of expecting to be pushed out. My Milan 2s did make it into the town, though, and that was pretty crucial. Unable to get that scout vehicle, however, which is, I mean, I swear sometimes my Milans just don't know how to shoot things quickly, but yeah, I'm sure it feels that way for a lot of people a lot of the time, and I've about had it with this. I'm just kind of going, okay, you know what, we'll get infantry, we'll set up a position here, if possible we'll push, if not possible we'll just make it so that he can't take this town either, because, you know, spite is always a good thing, and the other Fuchs Milan does go down. I did, at this point now, feel, you know, enough like a bastard to try something sneaky, and the PH2 Tiger takes it right on the chin from a single Igla N group, so, you know, that was well deserved. I was trying to be unsporting, and I certainly paid the price. Yeah, you know, we were 25 minutes in, and the tide had very much turned. So the Parmelan team able to get that enemy vehicle here, and, you know, those BMP-2 OBRs really were proving to be much more of a problem than I was expecting. I thought, you know, yeah, I have Martyr 2s, there's very few, I have infantry fighting vehicles that can go toe-to-toe with those guys, don't really have much to fear, but ATGMs do good work, and, you know, value is certainly worth something. And at this point I realized, you know, if I don't get some points, it's going to be a problem, so I am calling in a Panzerkampfwagen 2, just experimenting with these guys again. 170 points is so expensive, but if they don't die, they don't die, and that is what you're paying for in theory. So I do lose a Fuchs Milan and a couple of infantry there, that C-72, but ATGM's able to take him out, and now we have good fire support going on in the western woods here, and Panzergren leading the way with, I mean, just lots of TPZ Fuchs Milans opening up. Motostrelki are really going to suffer, and counterattack from Boomer gets intercepted here. Martyr 2 is kind of paying the price, and this was a bit worrisome. Those big guns not able to chew through whatever is those mystery units headed up the woods. Panzergrens, however, opening up with Panzerfaust 3 and my Fuchs Milans on the far side, able to get within range. Also called in a peace round to take out that other vehicle. So now there's just Motostrelki left, and we're sprinting into the woods as quick as we can on this side, trying to avoid that 24D, who, I mean, those rocket pods are deadly. They're taking out my Jaeger as quickly as they can. Martyr 2 is also briefly stunned, but able to get some good fire on whatever it was back there, and I really need to take him down before he can get anything else. So this at least has gone somewhat okay. We are getting into the woods, even if I am losing a couple of transports in the meantime. Martyr 2 is able to get those RH503s online, and if they can hit anyway, that 24D will very much regret his positioning, but a whole volley and not a single shot landed is a bit unfortunate. Parmelan's opening up at relatively close range against another BMP-2 by the look of it, and the Panzergren able to head off that attack between Foxtrot and Gulf. Razvedka now being thrown as the meat grinder, very much not a good decision, as they are taken down before they can even land a hit, but hey, you know, they did land a hit, just, you know, posthumously anyway. And the Martyr 2 finally able to open up that main gun on the 24D. If this was still a double group, it would very much be taken down a little earlier. But now we are pushing up enough into Gulf that that Leopard 2 is going to have some sort of relatively safe position on that side of the field. Of course, it can still be relatively predictable. It's probably going to be in one of these sets of woods or the other, and that, you know, it's good, but it's not great. Reinforcements now being called into Fox. I really want to clear the woods in the center again. It's a wonderful position to hold if you can hold it. It's just hard to hold from either direction, but, you know, hey, I'm attacking, that works in my favor. We have another T-72P1, and this is an 85-point tank. 15 frontal armor, 85 points is not necessarily the most valuable. Certainly a number of nations that can do better than that. T-72B, of course, is kind of his big brother. Peace Run comes in, 2 shots and 2 misses, and does get a lot of return fire, probably from that Tunguska. Draken Wands coming in to provide a bit of a bombing run here as well, and able to get out just barely as that Mi-24 VP is taken down again. This time by infantry's small arms, which was pretty crazy. At least, you know, it looks like it. Stunned, damaged, that's for sure. And Tornado ECR finally able to get the Tunguska as he did turn on his radar gun. In the meantime, Panzergren at 15 strength, even worried and panicked, should be enough to take down a double group of Monostrelki, and Jaeger support is going to be very nice, but outnumbered 2-1 is no longer true, so Panzergren are stunned, and we have a peace run coming in. T-72 does go down to that. At the very least, we're getting some decent latitude here, but Panzergren outnumbered and just overwhelmed by that counterattack will be a bit of a problem if I'm not able to do something about it. So, yeah, no, that just... I was thinking, you know, if I can get up here, I can get some fire support on the woods, I can collapse in from the left and from the right simultaneously from Foxtrot, and it just never really came into fruition. However, we have counter-capped Golf, so the Leopard 2 is there, and I had turned off his main gun too late. I didn't want to give away that position, so as soon as he shoots, I do reposition. But with Golf counter-capped, we will be getting +1 point passively, which is pretty nice in the Dornier and the bow, trying to take advantage of a dead Tunguska to scare away that 24 VP. Jaeger and Jaeger 90 engaging with BMP2s, and that should be okay, but nope, they're stunned, not able to fire their tank weapons until a little bit late, and of course we do finally take them down. I think maybe these guys are a bit too expensive to maintain the sort of woods fighting that we were doing here for a long time. So, I mean, so are the Martyr 2s, don't get me wrong, but the Fuchs Milans at least are significantly cheaper. Let's see if I can find some... Yes, here they are. 15 points as opposed to 30 for the BMP2s. There's quite a big difference. The Draken 1's able to punish that formation a little bit, but, I mean, Motostrelki did survive. My Jaeger are being chased out, and this is very swingy, right? We pushed them all the way up into Golf and just all of a sudden push back. So I don't know if my opponent was sort of sandbagging some points, expecting to need some sort of flexible response, or if this was a garrison farther back in the zone. But my helicopter's now moving back, more infantry moving up in Fuchs Milans, and I'm trying to retreat to make sure that the Leopard 2 does not get overwhelmed. So I went from sweating bullets to pretty confident to sweating bullets again, and the Fuchs Milans trying to open up, provide some sort of fire support, but there's another tank in that town. There's something else that just ate one of those Milans and didn't really care, which is always a bit worrisome, and that is a T-72B1. However, Peace Ryan's having some pretty good luck there, and another one comes in to take him out. So pretty clean play in that regard. Decent luck, I guess, but taking out the Tunguska, really an enabling factor until another one can get online. BMP2 is headed over into the eastern woods, but I do have Jaeger there to respond, and now there's finally a 27 PU air superiority fighter trying to discourage more of those Peace Ryan attacks. In the meantime, Howitzers going in the last known position of Leopard 2, who has of course moved, and the Dornier, of all things, able to provide enough fire support to keep my Jaeger online for right now, as the Motostrelki double team is of course completely panicked. So another SPZ looks kind of being fed into the fire here. Bit of a misplay on my part. I should have kept him in those woods just as a spotter unit, but I was trying to do something with it and it didn't quite work out. Jaeger trying to ambush these BMP2s. We'll see if they can get up there unobstructed, and now there is an MI2 over Foxtrot. Of course there were Motostrelki escorting infantry as well, and I have lost a Dornier finally to that PU of all things. So the Jaeger move up, they engage, they see they're outnumbered, and they move back because it's a skill I'm trying to work on, is just knowing when I'm outfought and need to pull back and fight another day. Mortar fire coming in, but not quite able to land on the Jaeger. However, the Jaeger on the western side are just outmatched. So at this point there was enemy infantry, enemy vehicles, and there's my command tank, but you know, the expected attack I don't think ever really came. And yeah, I am moving him out, that's true, and you know, this was probably better lucky than good sort of thing, because I mean, there's a T-70, no, the T-72 was dead. I mean, okay, this was a very atrocious fight for both of us, and I understand that, but that was the time where the Leopard 2 should have probably died and didn't. And the fact that he didn't allows me to resecure that +1 and start going up again from 116 points even higher. Of course, there are only 5 minutes or so, maybe closer to 6 left in the match. Motostrelki pushing up, engaging with my Jaeger, which, I mean, hey, they're pushing into me, which is okay because we'll win that trade, provided there's no fire support coming in. And I was wary of mortars, but they are very supply intensive, and they've been online pretty much all games. They may well have been running out of supply at this point, and I am moving over to try and attack from the high ground. So I have the SPZ Lux, Panzergren, Martyr 2s, which needed to be unloaded and weren't quite yet. A bit of a mistake on my part. MiG-29M coming in. That is, of course, another simple bomber. But hey, you can sometimes be enough. Gepard is having a nice time with that, though, but not able to quite kill it. And now the Panzergren and Lux are able to save the Jaeger from a gruesome fate. Martyr 2 is moving in as well, and I think I do move them into howitzer fire, as there was quite a bit going on at this time, and I was trying to make sure everything up here was all right. Yes, misplay with the Martyr 2, still not being unloaded. The infantry finally popping out. Not really a good position for infantry. They've been intended to be back there in that back line. But the reinforcements here are able to get a nice firing concave on the Motostruck 90, so stunned. Being attacked by Martyr 2s, being attacked by the Leopard 2 again, whose gun was back on, and I regretted this immediately. But infantry and Martyr 2s finally able to secure this woods, and Boomer is moving some stuff over, side-shotted by Martyr 2 and taken out, probably another BMP, and Motostrelki going up and over the hill, which I'd never really seen before, but I mean, more power to you, are identified and shot at by this SPZ Lux. In the meantime, Panzergren are infiltrating into the back of Foxtrot with some Martyr 2s behind them, and I thought, you know, now that I'm this far forward, maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to find a command vehicle or some other juicy bit there, as a Leopard 2 is briefly stunned and repositioning once more. So, nice kill there. It actually was I think it was a resupply vehicle, so I think I had to manually target that. Never did get a clear sight picture on it, but Martyr 2s open up, and this VP is very sad, stunned and taken down by those excellent guns. Actually, ammo box hit too, so he probably didn't have much left to shoot anyway. But 90-point kill off of 30 points transports is, yeah, that's pretty nice. That's kind of what you want. T-72 is firing in, but I think with that infiltration, Boomer was just a bit into the, okay, you know what, that's fine, sort of zone. So kills and losses look a bit worse than I had expected. So 3140 kills, 1865 losses. It certainly didn't feel like that. I think probably because a lot of my stuff wasn't in active use, which is a problem on my end. I need to get out of the mindset of just passive garrisons. They need to be doing something pretty much all the time, or they're wasted points. But it was a very enjoyable game from Boomer. Many thanks to him for that. And in terms of units that performed very well, Peace Ryan got 3 kills on tanks, very nice. Jaeger 90 got more than their value back with 3 BMP-2 OBR-8 1986 kills. Fallschirmjäger did okay. Geez, I didn't realize we'd killed the command vehicle there, but I guess we got one with artillery at some point. I'm sorry for missing that during the game. Otomatic did well, because of course it did. Martyr 2s did okay. And I actually got some decent kills off the Parmelan 2s, a T-72 OBR 1987 of all things, and another BMP. So that's all we've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around. We'll see you again real soon.